So it's a beautiful sunny day and we've come to the west coast of France to a little city, I guess, called La Rochelle. From everyone else we've heard that it's a really beautiful place to come and it's got an incredible amount of restaurants. But we're actually rushing over to the central market because it's supposed to be great for lots of little types of local produce and food and cheese and wine and other things like that. And it closes in about an hour, so I just want to get over there, take some video and sort of give you a little tour of the place. So if you come to La Rochelle, is it worth coming to the market? And I would say yes, absolutely. And the reason I say that is because having been to some great food markets around the world, when you see local people queuing up in droves for very specific products, then you know that people trust this place. It's obviously well known locally. It's not just there for tourists. If at all. In this case, the fresh fish and of course the fresh oysters had massive queues. So if that was something you were interested in, I would definitely go. In terms of regional produce, the selection was good. It wasn't fantastic. I wasn't allured by, lots of different things. But overall, it was definitely worth going to look at, especially if you were staying here in a self-catering place. So far, La Rochelle reminds me a bit of Bordeaux. It's got this real sort of grandeur that only a French city can really have. The market's quite small, but full of really beautiful produce. The only reason we didn't stop for an oyster is that my wife couldn't stand it, frankly. So we're coming out to find a restaurant for lunch. From what we've been told, there's probably more restaurants per capita here than almost anywhere else I could think of. And everywhere you look, there's another little place with people perched up, drinking the local sort of sweetish wine, which is called Pinot de Charente, and it's barely lunchtime, so obviously they know how to have fun here. I'm after moule frites, so mussels and French fries, because they're supposed to be the best in France here, and I mean I love them even when they're just pretty good, so if they're better than that, that'll be absolutely fantastic. So it's a lot prettier than we expected, and we're in I think the old port here, which has been around for, I don't know, 300 or 400 years. And they've got these incredible old sort of fortifications behind me, which you might be able to see. But along this side, as you might expect, is a tourist trap. And there is restaurant after restaurant with nice shiny plastic menus on the tables. So we're determined to try and avoid those. And my wife has found, using Google Maps, that there are some really good seafood restaurants, but unfortunately you can't see the sea from them, I believe. So we're going to go and hunt around in the little side street and we'll show you what we find. If you've ever spent any time in France, or most of Europe frankly, then you probably understand when I say that opening hours can be a little bit relaxed. So we've come to what was supposed to be the best seafood restaurant in the area, and c'est fermé. That means it's closed. It's unfortunate, but we're gonna hustle around and find somewhere else. There's an incredible smell of frying fish, I think, coming from this little boat kiosk behind us, and it does just sort of fresh shellfish and fish on a grill, and the smell is permeating the whole area, and it's a really lovely time of year to come because the weather is incredible, which is maybe slightly worrying. It shouldn't really be at the end of October. We're in the last week of October and it's hot. It's sort of 18 degrees Celsius, but quite warm in the sunshine. and perfect if you haven't got your kids with you. You can go away in an off-peak time, and there's a small sort of bustling feeling going on around this little town, and it just feels like a sort of quite happy place. Why wouldn't it? You've got this beautiful marina, and the water is glistening, the sun is out, there's a smell of cooking fish in the air, and don't judge us, but we might end up going to a popular sort of restaurant on the waterfront, just because, being the off season, lots of things seem to be closed, unfortunately. So if you bring a Brit abroad and they see sunshine, the chances are they're going to want to sit in it. So I think everyone's probably thinking we're the crazy English, because everyone else is sat inside this little room here, and we're the only ones braving it in this sort of 18 degrees direct sunshine in front of this gorgeous marina. And we're just sifting through the menus. I think I have to have mussels here. That's what I've been told. And mussels with Thai basil sound awesome. I'll let you know how they are. So we finally found a brilliant restaurant actually in front of one of the fortifications at the marina. So it was a beautiful place to sit outside, and it turned out to be a French-Asian fusion place. But the starters actually were very French. It was some prawns and some langoustines with a mustard mayonnaise, which was delicious, a little bit finicky, but it was quite fun working the meat out of the bones, the claws. And then this massive bowl of mussels. It doesn't look that big here, but I only got about half of the way through. It had crispy onions on and majestic Thai basil, and it was just delicious. And so a short lunch becomes a long lunch. That's a common theme in France, because obviously there is a fast food culture as well, but any of the sort of half decent restaurants dotted around, and in La Rochelle they're more than dotted around actually. That was a really nice restaurant that served a sort of Asian fusion French food. Yeah, just to have 2 courses took nearly 2 hours. Just 1 glass of wine, but really some delicious mussels with a Thai basil, sweet Thai basil sauce on them. And just everyone was friendly, and it was, in a nice sunny spot. So anyway, now we're off to Ile de Ré. So Ile de Ré is apparently a beautiful island just a couple of miles off the coast here, and we have to drive over a nearly 2-mile bridge to get there, which is going to be pretty cool. So I'll show you what that looks like. It turns out that Ile de Ré is an absolutely magical place, and this bridge, it sort of transports you into a completely different world from where you've just come from. To get out of a small city and go straight over to this beachy, sandy, very laid back, relaxed atmosphere here on Ile de Ré was just wonderful. And you just walk along the sand, having come from town, and there are all these beautiful colours of all these kites, and everyone's very relaxed and just focusing on this particular hobby of theirs, and they have the place and they have the time for it. It does make you feel like it's somewhere you'd like to come and spend a good amount of time, and to really connect with the place and the people, because as you go across the island, you realise it's a place of complete sort of tranquility. This is pretty unexpected. We've basically just come out of the city. It's a 15-minute drive over a 2-mile long bridge, and we've just come to a perfect sandy beach. I can't imagine how busy this must get in the summer, and there's a tiny little car park with about 50 spaces in it, so there must be dramatic queues over the bridge, I reckon, but we're lucky we're here in the off-peak time, and it's like we've just stepped out of La Rochelle and ended up in California. I really don't like walking in the sand, so I'm doing this walk along the beach to try and get to the base of this bridge so I can take some nice footage of it. And I'm quite heavy, so I'm sinking, and I'm not really kitted out like these guys who are flying these kites behind me. But this is an absolutely beautiful place. I can't wait to come back with the kids, maybe learn how to fly a big kite like these, and you're surrounded by places with amazing food. And this is October the 23rd, and I'm I'm wearing a sweater because I thought it was going to be, you know, chilly, and it's not boiling hot, but it's pleasant. So we ended up in this little village called La Flotte, and it was really cute, quite sleepy, and then you end up in this beautiful little marina harbour area here, which was surrounded by restaurants and just sort of cafes, little shops, and beautiful old buildings, and you know, it had a really nice vibe to it. The property around here is not cheap at all, so Ile de Ré is considered a sort of playground for the rich and wealthy. I think they compare it to the Hamptons near New York. But it was a lovely place to come and relax for an hour or two and just sort of soak in the sounds and the smells, the sound of the sea and the smell of the local fish being cooked. There was also a kiosk that was doing waffles and pancakes, things like that. It was fun for kids. There was a carousel, but we just sat at the end of the jetty or the pier, soaking in the sunshine, which was really lovely. It's definitely somewhere I'd come back to again, and explore a little bit more, probably maybe stay the night or two there. You could stay in the village like this and then go out to the beaches during the day, come back in the evening, and you've got the best of both worlds, a little bit of a towny feeling, and then a day just absolutely relaxing at the beach.